What's up, everybody? Bootsy Greenwood here, and today I want to talk to you about the power of agreement. And I want to also make a plan. I've gotten a lot of really good feedback regarding a meditation. And again, that's not something that was my idea, but it's something that I think could be very useful and powerful. And I think it's something that we should, any of us who feel like led to do it or like it might be helpful in any way, we should try to do it. So I hate leading things. But why don't we call it 3 p.m. tomorrow, starting tomorrow, and just have a 10 minutes of visualization of what we'd like to see in our external world. As we know, the external world is the shadow on the wall in Plato's allegory of the cave. It is the effect to the cause of the mental world. And agreement is a huge ingredient. Ingredient is the thing that hardens the cement. So Matt on the Quantum of Conscience channel, he's the one who I initially heard the idea that, hey, let's do a meditation from. I think it's a great idea. I am not the best at leading things, but I do know a little bit about this stuff. And when I mentioned it yesterday, I've already gotten a ton of great feedback. Let's do it. So let's do it. Let's start, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that if you're on the West Coast, that's noon. So that should be relatively doable. And if you miss it, it's not a big deal. Just, do it the next day or whatever. I'm going to start doing it. But what I want to ask of you guys is I want to ask for you to put some specific imagery in the comments below. What should we agree on? What are some things, places to start that we can agree on and build from there? Because here's how things go. As we know, the physical world is the effect. So we don't build a sandcastle and then think, oh, what would be cool? Building a sandcastle. No, we think about the sandcastle, then we build it. Now that process has some back and forth. So we don't just think of every aspect of some people may, but for the most part, we think about the sandcastle, we start to put it together, it's not going quite like we thought, so we have to continue to think and find new ways. Maybe we add some flags and we put this here, and these are later thoughts, but the thoughts come before the actual thing. But putting the thing together can teach us a lot as well, right? But again, the mental is the cause and the physical is the effect. So we want to keep that in mind. Now, this is what I want to talk about, because agreement is the thing that gives things validity, okay? Let's take a very, let's start with an interesting example here. Let's see. You might not be able to see it very well. This is a blue marker, but I just wrote the word green on the board. Now, that's blue to me. But if someone else saw it as green and said, hey, you see that green thing right there? I'd be like, oh, so that's green? So the sky is green. So to me, that's what green looks like. We agree on it. And then now all of a sudden, the more people that say, yeah, green, that's green, that's green. The sky is green. Sure, it's green. It doesn't matter. It's basically arbitrary what we call it. Because the truth really of it is, I see blue here because every color this is actually every color, but the one that is being rejected is blue. So it's like really, really messes with your head. But the point is, if we agreed that this was green, it would become green. That's all it takes, is people agreeing. So we see this overlap here, right? In these reality spheres, these reality bubbles, reality tunnels, as Robert Anton Wilson calls it, or as Vadim says, our layer of the world. So each of us has our own layer of the world, and we decide what is valid in that layer and what is not. We reject things too, guys. We have the power to do that. I'll also mention that regardless of what we agree upon, it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It doesn't matter. It's valid. So as much as I hate the color green, the more I hate it, the more valid it becomes, because I'm agreeing that it's a thing in existence that we all share and we all experience, okay? So, point being, right? Like, this is how there's no such thing as bad press, or like a terrible person could get elected as a leader of a country or something like that, because people are validating it by agreeing that it's valid in the first place. If we were just like, nope, I don't buy that, and then just went the other way, it would disappear, okay? But agreement is really how our reality becomes what it is. This is, I start with this thing, I create it, it's a table, and I say, hey, check this out, man, I made this. I'm gonna call it a table. And then I present it to my neighbor, he agrees, he tells somebody, they find out about it, et cetera, and so on. And now this idea hardens in the physical world, okay? And now here we have a table or a desk or whatever thing. It doesn't matter. So I wanted to illustrate that, and then I also want to give you guys just a quick update. I want to say, first of all, thank you for everything you're doing. I know a lot of you are trying to get the word out there. You're trying to explain some of these ideas, and thank you for that. I did recently monetize my channel, and I won't ever monetize anything like a book or a meditation or something, but some of these videos, I've just got to do whatever it is that I've got to do. We all are in that position right now. And as we get closer and closer to the fall, I think that position is going to continue to be more and more apparent. I don't think a lot of people understand what we've gone through in the physical world over the past. And I think that's, again, a big reason why meditation is important. So I want to think about and focus on the positive things and build a positive sandcastle with you guys. And as we continue to do that, there may be some things that need adjusting, and that's okay. But I want to begin to embark on that journey, on that process. So I never wanted to monetize my channel, but I've got to do everything I can do. So I did that. Again, I'll never put that on any of the books or meditations or anything like that are on the channel. And I've also been writing a book, and I have been hesitant to speak about it, but I wanted to let you guys know and encourage you that whatever it is that you're doing is good. Whatever it is that you feel inspired to do, please do that, okay? I'm writing a book not because I'm trying to be like an author, but here's the other part of that picture. It's never been easier to write a book. I was joking earlier. I'm writing a book because I'm sick of the word resonate. You won't find that word in my book. No, I'm kidding. But you won't find that word in my book. Or manifest. Somehow it's going to wind up in there, isn't it? But the point is not to write this great book, really, right? It's to legitimize. And then at that point, you can share this information elsewhere. It's never been easier to publish a book on Amazon. So if that's something that you've thought about, do it. And then you can take that, you can write up a short couple of paragraphs and say, hey, my name's so-and-so, wrote a book about such and such, and I would love to come and talk to you about some of the ideas in my book. You are an expert on one of the things that I talk about in my book, for instance, right? Like I speak about this, and you've talked about this on your show. I would love to share with you, whatever. You just send that out and start getting this information out there. We need the information out there, and that's really what I'm trying to do. So I want to encourage and tell you all thanks. Thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for any of the support that you've given me and in the comments in the past. All that stuff really keeps me going. And I want to say that whatever it is that you feel like you should be doing in your heart, do that. Now's the time. There's never been a more prime time to do that. Check out Matt's channel, Quantum of Conscience, and also Vanessa VA's channel. She talks a lot about some of these ideas as well. And so these awareness spheres, right? We can only be aware of what we're aware of. But the more we agree on this stuff, the more real it becomes, the harder the cement is. And this is how we see the status quo change over time when we're like, what the hell happened? Well, it's agreement. It's hardening cement. It's ideas behind the physical reality, pendulums, egregores, whatever we're going to call them, that we see the effect of them from the mental world in the physical world when these things happen. So what we need to do is use this to our advantage and start to visualize the type of world that we want to experience. Now, it's very likely too, I'll add, that the world that we see, this physical reality, will take some time to take shape, and it may not even take shape the way we think. The gateway to the higher dimensions is within us. So opening that door and going into the higher levels of consciousness is going to be the primary way to get there. And I just appreciate all of you guys. I'm trying to get to the point where I can be independent because I've been codependent for a very long time. And I think a lot of us have. And it seems selfish and it seems just weird to sort of be like, oh, I need to be independent. But in order to get to the point where you're interdependent, which is where I'd really love to be, you have to establish independence first. So it's unfortunate and it seems like a step back because, you know, from my nature, being codependent and doing all this stuff for a group is awesome. But we also need to learn how to take our desire and our excitement and our motivation and use it for our own sake so that we can get to the point where we can, it's you go first, right? You go first. So I want to drive that point home. You go first, and then you can expect other people to lock arms. But if we wait around on something to happen, then it's never going to happen. So we have to each individually, I think, take those first couple of steps, push off the side of the pool, and swim. And then at that point, we can become more and more interdependent, which is the goal anyway, right? Because codependence feels comfortable. Independence feels selfish. But interdependence is going to be that place where abundance is. And so when we're writing in the comments down below for the meditation, please be descriptive as possible. And let's start with some really basic stuff, you know. Groups of people, you know, enjoying each other, love, peaceful gatherings, you know, healthy people, you know, good weather, you know, whatever. And again, I'm sure I'm not the most eloquent regarding a visualization, but that's why we all need to co-create it, and then we can take it and then start to refine it more and more and more. And that'll be, I think it'll be a really positive experience for all of us. 3 p.m., we'll do it starting tomorrow. 10 minutes. If you miss it, who cares? No big deal. Do it the next day. Or do it later that day. It doesn't matter. And if I need to make a guided meditation for it, I can do that. But I want your help with that. I don't want to just well, here's we have a lot of moats. If it was my reality, there would be many, many moats.